What's going on, Benchwarmers? We are back for another episode. And now I am your host for now, but there's a special reason why the normal host is not here today. And it's a beautiful reason. Can someone tell me why? All right, Diego, tell me why.
It's because the world, the footballing world, the Arsenal Academy, and the Benchwarmers added a new benchy onto the squad. Congratulations and welcome to Santiago Estrada, baby. Baby Santi.
Santiago Mitro Estrada is in the building.
Santiagovich.
Santiago
Estrada was born. No, in all seriousness, Eric is not joining us today, and we are doing it virtual because he was able to welcome a beautiful baby boy together with his girlfriend. They are in the hospital right now. They are in good conditions, healthy, and we hope that it continues to stay that way. He will be out of, I guess, the action, so he can be a supportive father. Our man's a whole dad now. He's got to
cutie now, bro.
He's got to do the project. He said Project Martinelli, not Project Mbappe. Project Martinelli is starting since day one, so he's going to be working on that in the meantime. But Nico is taking over the hosting duties, and from us on the bench, I'm pretty sure anyone and everyone who supports us, a nice welcome to baby Santi.
7 days a week training, Santi. No,
I can see Eric there, bro.
2 hours a day. Treat your rest and recovery as professional as you can. 7 days.
They're gonna get home. They're gonna get home from the hospital right to the tech ball table.
Wait, though.
Already started, he says.
So obviously I'm your host right now, Nico Nick. Obviously Diego already introduced himself. So Gat, how are you?
What's up? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm very good. Marco?
Yo, what up?
And Dyer.
What's going on?
Now, sorry, I said Diego introduced himself. Diego, you did not introduce yourself. I'm sorry. Diego.
I appreciate you introducing me. I do want to ask a question for anyone who is watching the video. Gat, what was behind your thought process for today's attire?
It was the first shirt I picked out of my hamper when I got out of the shower. So
He said,
that's it.
to wash in a while.
That's it. I don't plan my outfits except for going to work. Except for going to work, I just pick whatever's the first thing that's laying there and I put it on.
There's no subliminal messaging going on or anything like that. No,
of course not. Of course, why would there be? Did something happen or something that I need to be grumpy
Nothing has
about?
happened yet.
Oh, okay.
We will get into that. But just a little rundown for today's episode. So first, we're going to recap this past Premier League weekend's games. Then we're going to talk about a special interview between Cristiano Ronaldo and Piers Morgan. And then we're going to all give our World Cup brackets and see how which teams everyone has gone to the final, what, star courses and what everyone's got. So that's pretty much the rundown. So let's get to it. This Premier League weekend obviously was very good for certain red team in London. And it was benefited by this result. Brentford 2, Manchester City Football Club 1. Ivan Toney. Now we will get into what Ivan Toney has done in a little bit, but I've already seen the memes on Twitter that Ivan Toney put in work just for the benefit of Arsenal and just dipped. Fair enough, but guys, Ivan Toney, my guy, dunking on Erling Haaland. What was everyone's reaction to this game, especially the last minute winner?
Oh, Josue's doing a celebration. Josue, what'd you think?
I mean, he made a statement. He definitely made a statement as to being snubbed from being called up to the World Cup. I think he should have been chosen, but he definitely made a statement, scoring a brace. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
No, it was great to watch. Of course, as a rival fan, it's nice to see City go down, especially at home, and for it to come at the hands of Ivan Toney. I'm sure it delighted some other people on the pod. So Diego, what'd you think about it?
I'm actually I'm pissed off because he was Ivan Toney first, and then he was back to default settings. So he was Ivan Toney for a few weeks, and then he went ahead and he scored a brace against Man City, and he could have probably had more goals, maybe even a hat trick or 4, because he had some great chances that just didn't go in. But I'm glad that he's back to Ivan Toney again, because there's some phony antics going on off the pitch, but I'll reserve that for later. How did you feel, Marco, watching Man City drop more points, especially during this season? How did that result come to you? Where were you when you found out? Were you watching, or did you find out after?
I found out after. I honestly, I would lie if I said I watched the game because I did not. But I did wake up to the news of these motherfuckers losing, which gave me the biggest smile in the world, knowing that we were playing at 2:45 that day. I knew that whatever the result would be, we were still going to be in first place. It doesn't matter what it was. And it also made me feel that Man City is not unstoppable. Up to a certain extent. Let's not go crazy with my statement. But as of right now, the 2 losses and 2 draws. I know it's just 2 losses. I think it's 2 losses, right? That's what they have.
City.
Yeah, 2 losses and 2 draws. That's what it is. So 2 losses and 2 draws. It gives me the hope that when it comes down to us going against them next season, and twice in the second half, we got chances. I'll leave it at that. And where is Haaland? That's what I was. That's where I was questioning myself when I saw this result.
Bro, Haaland disappeared when a real striker came into the building. A real striker came into the building. But honestly, I've seen a couple takes on Twitter. I would agree with them as well that City this season have been a little bit suspect, especially obviously these past 2 games. Although they did beat Fulham in the last minute. It took them into the last minute, a last-minute penalty, maybe a controversial penalty, some would say, on De Bruyne. It took them to and to that extent, to beat Fulham. And so I would definitely see how people could say that City have been, kind of vulnerable and kind of suspect. I mean, even you look at Newcastle away at St. James's Park, they conceded 3 goals, I believe the game ended was 3-3, I believe, as well. And so I would definitely agree that City have been, there to be gotten at. Especially, I mean, it's always been prevalent that if teams go up against City and not being able to just sit in and just pack their box, they're gonna have a chance, especially with just physical strikers like your Mitrovic's and your Ivan Toney's of the league. You will cause damage to City, and especially if you have an outlet. So it's just like a little thing that it's very prevalent with City, not even this season, but in just past seasons where you've seen like specialist kind of players like Toney kind of rip them apart, kind of cause them a lot of damage. So, covering that, I'm just going to go in chronological order. Now, I want to touch on this real quick. AFC Bournemouth beating Everton 3-0. Back-to-back. They beat them in the Carabao Cup last week. I believe it was 4-1. And now, Everton, if I'm not mistaken, they've lost, their last, let me check. Let me check just to be sure. Yeah, the last time they won was
against Palace.
Against Palace. It wasn't that long ago, but if you look at since their 2-1 win away at Southampton and on the 1st of October, they've only won 1 game since. And there's been around 8 to 10 games since. So I mean I don't know, Diego, maybe do they still have that defensive record? Because that'd be crazy if they do. I assume not.
The defensive record is actually, it's pretty up there. They've had the same amount of goals conceded, if you want to stat, as Liverpool, who are currently in 6th place. Now, they aren't doing the greatest, but out of the bottom 3 teams, they have roughly half the amount of goals that Nottingham Forest have let in. Of course, it takes points to climb up on the table. I guess it's just whenever they lose heavily. And this 3-0 loss to Bournemouth wasn't any good news for them at all. We saw, I don't know if you guys remember, did you guys see the clip of the fans throwing Alex Iwobi's shirt back at him when he threw it in the stands? I thought that was crazy. At least to give Everton credit for trying their hardest and putting what they can onto the pitch. It feels like the Everton fans have had enough, okay? The Premier League has had enough. The board, please, have enough. and sack Lampard before my prediction goes to shit. Please sack Lampard. You have 1 month before the end of the year when we get back to the World Cup. Please reconvene, and then let him go. Thank you.
Did you say when you get appointed? Did you say 18 months is by Christmas? You said Christmas, right?
No, I said 18 months from the time he got appointed. So it's gonna roughly be around basically Christmas time if he gets back by then. But we'll see.
Got 1 month until next Premier League game week. So I mean, you never know.
And then real quick, Nick, before you go on, just quick thing on Bournemouth. They're technically still without a manager, and I know I've said it to you guys before, but there are rumors that Bielsa might be coming to Bournemouth. How do you guys feel about that?
Another one.
I think Bournemouth should just stick the way they're going right now, because ever since the sacking of Scott Parker, they've just been doing pretty well. They got out of relegation zone. They're not conceding 9 goals anymore. I say keep it the way it is. Bring Bielsa towards the end of the season once everything's secured, that they're either mid-table or in the top 10 if they could get there.
I think my take on this Bielsa thing is that obviously it's a great move for Bournemouth. But I'm very conflicted on why he would take this job. Bournemouth obviously don't have a humongous fan base like he did at Leeds, or he was at who did he coach in Spain?
Athletic Bilbao.
And especially with Leeds, they have some money to spend. Bournemouth have zero money to spend. Mm-hmm. And even if Bielsa does take over Bournemouth, it's not automatically where they're just going to stay safe in the league. It's just a very weird move for him. I don't know. I just like Bournemouth. Like, wow, like Bielsa, one of the most like impactful, influential managers of all time, taking on a Bournemouth job with a stadium that has like 8,000 people capacity.
It'll make more sense of him taking over Lampard's job.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. For example, Everton obviously have money to spend. They have some decent players. Mm-hmm. I can see that. But Bournemouth is just like so odd. But moving on though, Dyer, your team Tottenham won 4-3 over Leeds in a thrill.
Oh my goodness, man!
At the Tottenham Stadium. Talk to me about that game. Bentancur with the brace, perfect time for this World Cup. But talk to me about that game.
I was having panic attacks, not gonna lie. I was in full-on anxiety mode because I am getting sick and tired of being conceded first. Getting conceded first in like the first couple, 15 to 20 minutes of the match. It needs to end. It really needs to end. I mean, I'm just happy we came out with the win. Kulusevski, he played really well. Bentancur, he turned it up in the last 30 minutes of the match. I just think since Bentancur played so much of his career as a holding midfield, I think he's kind of understanding a little bit more of attacking more at goal, because he's getting goals in. I think he has one more goal than Heung-min Son in the season so far. But I happy with the win. I'm just getting sick and tired of being conceded first. I think we've let in 21 goals and we got the most conceded goals out of the top 10 teams. So that needs to stop. It really needs to stop.
One player though that, although you maybe did not enjoy the performance, or obviously Tottenham conceding first, was Dejan Kulusevski, the young Swedish boy, absolutely tearing it up as soon as he comes back into his team. Obviously provided the assist for Harry Kane against Liverpool the other week, and then got another assist this weekend.
Yes.
He's a special player. Like just him being able to just fresh off an injury, just immediately go into this team and just impact off rip. He's an amazing player. He's incredible.
Yeah, Richarlison, he started also, but I just feel like with the whole World Cup, he doesn't want to get injured again. So I feel like he kind of laid back just a little bit. But
so he didn't play 100%, is what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he did, because he did get subbed off in the 52nd minute, I believe, early in the second half. Kulusevski, he had nothing to play for. It's the last game of the season before the World Cup. He's not going to the World Cup, so he's going to go all out. So that's why his performance really, showed there. And I was just thankful that he provided for us.
Yeah, and on Leeds, real quick, I mean, it's a good sign, at least from Jesse Marsch. He's been able to, take it up to that's the Big Six team. So obviously, I believe he won against Chelsea, obviously won against Liverpool away at Anfield, and then competed with Tottenham. I'm probably missing a couple others.
They gave us a run for our money. Remember, we watched the game at
Oh, like
the Fan Fest. They had us against the wall.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it was a 1-0 win for Arsenal.
Mhm.
Missed that pen. So obviously, it's a good sign, at least if you're a Leeds fan, to know that if Leeds do come against big sits or a so quote unquote big team or whatever, they have a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, good sign for Leeds fans, although they lost. And I just want to touch on it real quick. Leicester City 2, West Ham United 0. James Maddison, obviously, pulling off a 200 IQ play,
Mm-hmm.
apparently faking his injury, but West Ham, man.
Bro, West Ham is not doing like I expected them to.
No.
I expected them to be at least top 8. Bro,
I had them in there. I had them in my. I had them finishing ahead of United.
I think so. I think I had them on my top 4 at my first call, and they're at 16th place.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what
mean,
the fuck is going on
Yeah, they
with
just
this West Ham?
they just don't know how to score. I mean, for the most part, a lot of their players, they're not playing bad. Things just aren't clicking for them right now. So West Ham is definitely one of the teams, in my opinion, that definitely desperately needed the World Cup break. So I think coming out of it on the other side, hopefully that they find they find the chemistry, they just start clicking, because that's really all they're missing.
I honestly, I think I don't think you can have such a good season like West Ham did last season, obviously reaching the semifinals of the Europa League, recruiting like strong players like Lucas Paqueta and Gianluca Scamacca, and just decline like that. I truly believe that it's just a case of David Moyes has reached his peak with West Ham United. And I
You
think
think
it's
so?
a normal case of just his peak just falling, just declining. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
I just think I mean I could see that, but I just think that West Ham has been having bad luck with the results of their matches. I mean, I thought Brendan Rodgers was gonna fucking get sacked, but now Leicester's doing better than before, so David Moyes is gonna get sacked.
As a Liverpool fan, I missed this match. Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. I thought Darwin Núñez was really, I thought he was incredible. Honestly, on the real note, this is like probably his most complete performance of the season in terms of just holding up players, linking up. He was doing like 30-yard cross-field switches to Trent and Salah, and just holding up defenders, creating. I just thought he was very complete performance. So
He finally learned how to pick up his head.
yeah, but yeah, obviously Darwin was just really good at that game. And then Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Now, if I go into my little book right here, if I'm not mistaken, everyone on the bench here predicted a Newcastle win. So that kind of tells everyone, not just because Newcastle are in great form, but Chelsea's horrendous form. So, Diego, give me your take on this match and Chelsea's, sticky situation right now.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears. That Chelsea are doing terribly right now. But the thing is that a lot of people expected them to, but look at UCL, but look at their record. But and then the thing is that, like, yes, the results can tell a story, but the football that they had on display was completely something else. And I think, and I did want to look this up so that way I can reference it. Having a front line, because he played 3-4-2-1, but having basically your 3 forward players, Broya, Gallagher, and Mason Mount, who Mason Mount also, for all intents and purposes, had a stinker that game. He wasn't very effective against Newcastle, who were definitely organized. I think it's poetic justice. Joe Willock, ex-Arsenal man, sticking it to the London club. Miguel Almiron, again, keeping on his form, his hot streak form, which it's extending much more than a purple patch. So I think also the heroics and the drama for those extra, what was it? It was 10 minutes extra like stoppage, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
All of the, like, there's, what was it? 4 yellow cards in that span, just to 3 of them to defensive players on Newcastle. And they were still going for it. Like, that's the thing. Afterwards, I feel like I don't think that Potter has to give him credit. I don't think Potter has the tools to be able to turn it around, because his substitutes, Ziyech, Cucurella, and Havertz, who none of those 3 you could say would be able to impact the way he wanted to. And at 1-0, you would think that at least they could salvage probably a draw. But I think Newcastle's form was too much for them to handle, and they took the 1-0 loss. As far as what things are looking like for Chelsea, I mean, so far they haven't won a game in their last 5 matches in the league, and I think that pointing to, yes, obviously there's other competitions that they're in, and those are definitely matches and results that they get. But if we're talking strictly league, and we have to go back to mid-October, the 2-0 win against Aston Villa, who at the time were terrible, and this was during the Gerrard era, so it doesn't look very good. And then once they come back, they have a bit of I think they have a bit of a cushion playing Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, and then the third game would be City. So maybe that's enough time for them to right the ship. I'm not sure. I do think though that Potter is a great manager. However, I see him as being very pragmatic, and I don't think he's going to be given the time to turn the ship around. He's going to do it very slowly, very methodically, to the point where he'll have a system that works for the future. And I said it from the beginning, and I'll say it now, managerial suicide. I just hope that Chelsea board and Chelsea fans have the patience to be able to let him do what he does best, which is to build a successful project. But man, am I happy that Chelsea lost.
Yeah, switching over to Newcastle's United side, I have a prediction I want to make. I believe that no quote-unquote Big Six or Big Seven club will win away at St. James's Park this season.
That's interesting.
So obviously City haven't won. They drew 3-3, and then obviously Chelsea lost. I don't think out of the remaining 4 teams, I don't think any of those 4 teams will get a result, a win. I'd say win. I definitely draw from someone, but I don't think
St. James Park is a tough place to play this season. It's absolutely insane. So that's not a bad shout. And then just to even look at some of the stats, Chelsea were held to a 0.36 expected goals versus Newcastle's 1.36. So Newcastle, it was a very comfortable win, and I mentioned it in the chat as well. Even in stoppage time, they were not holding back. They were not pulling their punches. They wanted more, and you can see that it was a great game to watch. It was a great game to watch, and to Diego's point, Potter's going to need time. It's just a matter of will Chelsea as a whole actually give him that time? And I mean, Chelsea likes to sack managers all the time, so we'll see. We'll see if he even gets the time.
They do.
0.63 expected goals sounds like us in pro clubs.
0.36. Don't be twisting my words.
I think the way that this is gonna pan out, especially that's pretty interesting. So I looked up St. James Park and the remaining away fixtures and how they're gonna fall for the calendar, especially for the other teams, because I think Newcastle, if they're able to keep up this form, it'll be relatively easy to get that boost, not just energy, but that performance boost from their fans. So it looks like Liverpool visit in February. Then you have both United and Spurs visiting in April, with Arsenal finally making their trip the 6th of May, the last month of the season. So, I mean, for Gunner fans, you're gonna hope that it doesn't last until May. But for everyone else, I think they're spaced out enough for them to comfortably be able to face the big teams. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like they're playing them back to back or 1 week and then 2 weeks later. It's basically like one each month. Very manageable for them. So that's a pretty good prediction. That's a pretty good prediction. So I think Eric would mention that he's not worried about facing Newcastle away. What do you think, Marco? Or would you be worried on current form? Because obviously we don't know what it's going to be. But let's say, for argument's sake, it does continue. Would you be worried visiting St. James?
That's a tough question, because knowing where we're at and continuing the form without no problems, but it's towards the end. I don't want to say we will win. What I will say is going to be one hell of a battle. It's going to be in my eyes, it'll be a hell of a game. I want to say, based off of, let's say we play tomorrow, the next game, there was no World Cup, the next game was at their home. I would go nervous, a little. I'd say if a tie or a win would be what we would walk out of there. I don't think they'll beat us.
To give you an assist, so far, the only teams that have only lost once away from home, as well as Arsenal, have been only Newcastle and City. And as far as Arsenal's away form, they're 6-1-1 for their away matches this season. So it looks like they're actually performing pretty well. And of course, even better at home, 6-0. So it looks like probably it may not be an issue. And I think if you're going with that kind of confidence, it probably won't prove to be. So I don't know. What would Josue, if you're watching this as an onlooker, do you think Arsenal drop points at St. James Park? And how would you compare that to Spurs playing away now that they've already faced each other?
I mean, the fact that Arsenal are definitely doing a lot better this season than any other season that I've seen them watch. But they do have a good away record. I mean, their only away loss is to United. So at St. James's Park, I don't know, that place is loud. They rupture every time Newcastle scores, or they get the ball, or a great dribble, or great passing. I don't know. I could definitely see, Newcastle beating Arsenal at St. James's Park. Now, would that affect Arsenal's title contention? I don't think so. I think they're gonna be too far up there, either battling against City or maintain 5 to 8 points above City. So that's what I see. That's my opinion.
In Eric's true words, no respetan. How do you say that we're gonna go and lose there? No,
Hey,
with the tournament we're having right now, and then he's
Hey,
not gonna affect them.
I just said 50-50. I said they're gonna lose there, but it's not gonna affect their title hopes.
We still have us losing there. Nobody
It doesn't
thinks
matter.
It's
So
not a
what?
possibility.
It doesn't matter.
It's not a
You
possibility.
guys lost at Old Trafford, so it's the possibility is there.
And but United have also lost at Old Trafford. Who cares? It's one game. We've lost to one team, and we tied to another half-ass team that's in 19th place.
Hey man, there's still 20-something games remaining. Anything is possible.
I'll agree with you on that, but as of today, no respetan.
All right, well, whatever. That's just you.
Well, since we're on the Arsenal topic, we must discuss Arsenal's 2-0 win away at Molineux Stadium. Martin Odegaard with a brace, really showing that he can finally do it away on a tough night. Marco, reaction to this game? Strong, strong performance. I'd say comfortable as well.
Yeah, it was a comfortable win. I enjoyed the game. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. And I realized that rules it's first versus last, basically. They would try to get out of whatever they're in, and they just couldn't. They had no attack at all. I think the only attack that they had were one or two mistakes that we made, and they couldn't even put those away. But overall performance, I think Odegaard had a phenomenal job. Party did his job. The Shaka situation did throw me off a little bit when in the first 2 minutes he pulled something and he was concerned. He continued playing for I think it was for another 20 minutes to have was it 20 minutes I think for the mistake that he played.
He was subbed off at the 16th.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So he played another 15 minutes then, which concerned me. But as of right now, I haven't seen anything yet, or I could be wrong.
You think it was a James Madison? Oh no, or actually it was a little visit from
what?
From the poop fairy.
It could have been a little visit for the poop fairy. I hope it was a little visit for the poop fairy. I mean, I'll take anything over an injury, man. But it concerned me. But we bring in Vieira, which in his defense, he hasn't really played with in my opinion, the OG squad, the squad that we started off with. Because this is now that Zinchenko's back, it feels like the beginning again, all over again. We're starting with the normal left back and of course White on the right. So and Vieira was able to fit in enough. Where if he was to fill in the spot. Of course, he's not Shaka, but he did his job. And again, overall, we did a phenomenal job, man. Odegaard did his job. He did his thing. He finally got out there, and he's proving that he's copy, man. He's copy, and we're striving. And 5 points is a beautiful thing.
Indeed, 5 points clear. Arsenal Football Club ahead of Man City going into the World Cup break. Honestly, perfect form. If you were, I assume you'd give it a 10, but I saw this tweet. I don't have it bookmarked, but what would be your rating of the season so far, Marco, for Arsenal?
Not only throwing away like the fact that we're in first place, I give it like a 8.5 to 8.9. What?
Give it a grade. A grade.
Good. Say a rating. Give it a rating.
Rating?
Out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
8.5 to 8.9? It's not perfect. We've lost one. We've tied one. I'm giving them
No, I would. I'm surprised. Like, yes, I understand that if you go to 10, people might
making it perfect, and it's not. We have a lot of places to improve. We're not quote unquote scoring the amount of goals that we should, or we can't put away the chances that we have.
Okay.
But we're still winning. Don't get me wrong. We're still winning. We're still putting up the numbers. But there have been moments that we've dropped off. We had that moment when we dropped off with Southampton. We lost the next game after Southampton. We lost against you guys. So we've had moments. We've had a phenomenal season so far. But to say that anything above 9 would be lying. So in my opinion, 8.5 to 8.9 is okay. Just
pick one.
All right, I'll go halfway up with 8.7.
8.7. Okay, I'll hit you with. I'll hit you with some stats.
Rating.
I'll hit you with stats off the dome, and I think this might be helpful. I think this might be helpful, so that way you have and I think it's to your benefit. I feel like because you said, oh, they can fall off, or we haven't gotten to the point where they could fall off. True, and if you look at seasons past, there's a history of that. However, this season right now, they are first, so we'll give them 1 point for the 10. They're 5 points clear by Christmas because we're gonna play on Boxing Day. That's 2. Then they have basically been unbeaten this season, except for against the greatest club in the Premier League, United. So that's 3. They also have scored in every single Premier League match this season. They're the only team to have done so. 4. Number 5. They have the joint most clean sheets with 6. They also have the joint least conceded goals with 11. Where are we now? We're probably like at 7. So, yeah, 5 for the clean sheets, 6 for the goals, 7 for the conceded goals, and then 8, 9, and 10. I think you have to look at how the team has been managed, what players are actually giving to the squad and contributing to this. You have Martinelli's performance, Gabriel Jesus at the beginning of the season. Granted, he's fallen off a little bit. And then you have also basically the not just the management of these games right now, but the teams that they've beat. If I'm not mistaken, what was it that Arsenal have only City to play? And they've won 4 of those matches. So, and City have only played 2 of the top 6 so far. That's a great record. So I would give them 2 points just off of that. So let's say we're already now what? If we're at 7 plus 2 points, we're at 9 already. And then you can give them another, 0.5? Just because you're an Arsenal fan and you love them very much, and Mikel Arteta has
maybe because I don't know. Maybe Eric
he's a real Leeds United fan first. Remember?
I see I see Eric doing this to Marco right now.
Yeah,
No
and
respeta,
first of
Marco.
all,
No respeta, Marco. No
fine. We
respeta.
don't always have to agree.
Making Eric sick right now.
He might give him more. He might give him more credit. I am a little bit more conservative on that end.
Correct. And I still think, like, I was surprised Marco would go to 8, but I also believe, at least from what I see, I think Marco's speaking from experience, because there's past trauma, guys. There's past trauma. And the thing is that I feel like that's one of the things that's very hard to let go of. And this season, I think you could even be okay with, for right now, World Cup break, the league is literally at a standstill.
Of course.
They're right now, they're first out of 20. And if you go proportionally, I think that would translate into at least a 9 out of 10, just because they lost against the greatest team in the Prem. So that's, hey, give him 9.5 because you love him.
I'll stick to my 8.7.
8.7.
I'll stick to it, and I'll take the 0.3 just so because they lost to Man United.
All right, then moving on though to a certain game at the Craven Cottage. Alejandro Garnacho, last minute winner for Man United. Guys, Gat and Diego, give me your reaction to this game. Dan James on the score sheet, United's ex. So yeah, what was how'd you guys feel?
It was a little bit rough to watch. I mean, Fulham didn't have Mitrovic, which was a big help for us. But even throughout the game, Fulham still looked very much in it. So we didn't really do enough to just put the game to bed. It wasn't until Garnacho came on where I don't know what, someone lit a fire under his ass. But he really bailed us out. But overall, I mean, it was a decent game. We definitely could have done better, and I'm surprised that I mean, I would have been understanding if we walked away with just a draw, because Fulham really tried their best.
Yeah, it would have been nice that somebody lit fire under Karen's ass, but he lost the ball. He didn't care. I wish Pogba was there. I think he would have bitched him out.
Pogba? No, Pogba's too busy.
I mean, he did it once with one of his old teammates. He might as well done it to Karen as well.
He's too busy with his black magic.
I mean, he might have done a voodoo right there and then. Like every time he loses the ball and he doesn't run back, something really lights his ass up.
But Diego, give me your reaction on this game. 2-1 United.
I was relieved. I was excited. Once Karen actually provided something and was on the score sheet with the assists. I made sure that at least at that point Marco would have been paying attention, because I didn't know if he was up watching the games yet or not.
I was paying attention. You saw me.
Okay. Yeah, he was for the mistake, but not for when he deserved his plaudits. But it's okay. You know, we all have our agenda. Either way, they didn't close out the game like Gat said. They didn't look very convincing, like Gat also said. And we got very lucky that at least that Garnacho has a bit of hunger. At least Garnacho has that hunger to be able to drive past. And I believe it was one of the Robbies, when they were doing the post-match analysis, he was commending Garnacho to at least have the arrogance to chase after the ball that Eriksen had put in. You know, it looked like it was a little bit long, the 1-2 pass with the through ball that Eriksen put for him. But the thing is that it was perfectly weighted for a player that wasn't going to give up on the ball. And you need to have that bit of arrogance, they said, though that's what they were commentating on, that belief, that kind of selfishness to go after the ball and still have the composure to slot it past. And I honestly, 1-1, especially from an error that leads to Dan James obviously coming back, and it's like, damn, of course, obviously the ex player for the squad. Like, I feel like that's you can't escape that. It's always going to come back to haunt you. But then afterwards, you know, your ex reminds you that you're better off without them. And see, Garnacho was able to save United's, like, literally, I would say I consider this mid-season, even though it's technically not, would save their mid-season point. Because United going into the World Cup break a 1-1 draw against Fulham with no Mitrovic on top of that, like with no lethal striker that would have made their day completely different. Like this game, I would go on to say that this game we don't win if Mitrovic was playing and he was healthy. I feel like, especially with the 1-1 and they smell blood all over, Mitrovic would have been all over United, and they don't know how to cope with that still. They don't. And they're improving little by little. But the thing is that, like, if they don't have the players that can kill off a game, it's over, because Mitrovic can do that. And he's done that against the big sides this season and during the season. So it's not just, selective games where he scores and he disappears like a certain phony or impersonator. But either way, I'm glad that Garnacho scored. I'm not sure if the stat was youngest goal scorer or sixth youngest goal scorer for United or something like that. But I remember reading, 18 years and like 150 something days. Don't quote me on that. But I like that the celebration from Garnacho and the team. So that was pretty good. It was nice to see. It was definitely, I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know how you were watching it, Gat, but I was like, it was one of those like tense moments where you're like, damn, is it really gonna end like this? And I was watching the game with my brother, with my little brother, with Chubby, and then he's like, damn, man, it was like the 83rd minute or 82nd minute. He's like, and he walked out, he left, because he's like, man, they're gonna end up like that, like dropping points, and solely because I didn't want to hear shit from Marco. I was like, you know what? I told Chubby, I was like, we still got that goal, Chubby. We still got that goal. I know we still got that goal. And in my interior, I was praying to Georgie Best and Dennis Law and all these other guys to give that goal. So that way, at least we would have the win.
So did you celebrate like Garnacho did with the Messi celebration?
No. He celebrated like the Ronaldo celebration.
Oh, are you sure?
That phony celebration. Fucking Super Cup game at the new. But we're on the topic. You literally just mentioned the name, and we just mentioned the team that he plays for. Manchester United player, Portuguese player, forward, Cristiano Ronaldo comes out with a breaking interview the other day with Piers Morgan. The whole interview is about like an hour and a half long. And to be honest, guys, these little clips, Piers Morgan is a top. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for way too long. I believe this is his second interview with Cristiano. I think his first one was in 2019. And so obviously they have a really good relationship even before the interview in 2019. But guys, this interview was groundbreaking. It's really something that we haven't seen like this. It's almost like WWE kind of thing.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin back with Vince backstage with the Rock and
literally.
All that. So it's like straight out of a movie, bro. WWE is just straight WWE. But I see Diego, you have Cristiano jersey. What year is that? What year is that jersey?
This right here, if you want to see the front, this I believe is from their 03, 04, around there. It's throwback jersey, one that I've had in my possession for quite a while. So it's up there.
But it should be burned. Because
we will know. We will know. But
what do you mean? What are you waiting for? He's sucking shit already. Why not do it now?
We're waiting for part 2.
We already know what he's gonna say. Are you gonna back him up, or are you gonna burn it? That's what I want to know.
Are you gonna do a LeBron fans in Akron, Ohio when he
honestly,
left?
I'm not gonna lie. I'd keep it. I say, if he's gonna go this deep, might as well just go all out, bro.
All right. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. Diego, take it away.
Man, there's a lot to say. I honestly, I want to know what you guys thought about it, because I wouldn't think and I wouldn't expect, at least to have everyone sit back, listen to everything wait till actually like the first part of the interview came out. One thing I will say though, and I'll give him his credit for it, Piers Morgan knows how to work an audience, man. He is the arch provocateur, bro. I give my hats off to him because he is a master of his craft, and he's pretty damn good at it. It was interesting to see, especially the order that he released a lot of the clips. But like I have listen, the only reason why I'm reserved right now is because at least for this first part, there's a few things that I would say, but if I would rather get everyone's reaction. So I don't know. If you want my initial reaction, I was like, because I did have one, I was disappointed, man. I was pretty. I feel like I should be wearing the grumpy shirt from Gad right now. I probably should have gotten one. We should have been matching or something. And I was like, because it's not. The immediate effect was that it took away from the excitement of that last minute winner at Fulham. It just took it sucked all of the air out of that momentum entirely. It wasn't about Garnacho anymore. It wasn't about the team performance at the end. It wasn't about Ten Hag talking about his squad and how they're improving gradually. It was about Ronaldo and airing his grievances with Piers, who is someone who is literally the master at baiting people in. And that had me pretty pissed off, which is why I was like, man, I really want to bite, but it took a lot out of me to not jump to conclusions, because there are things that were said in the clips themselves that would have had me, bro. I would have this jersey wouldn't have been here right now. This would have been burned out. This probably would have been. I would have done the LeBron fans in what'd you say in
Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio, man. I would have probably done that.
So you're saying as of right now, you're more of him than against him.
As of
right now.
No, when everyone found out, right when the clips came out, literally the beginning of the week, because they came out Monday, didn't they?
Yeah, sorry,
When
rolling out.
posted
Sunday.
Oh yeah, literally Sunday, because I remember that was one of the things that came out afterwards that Ten Hag and the team didn't know, that obviously he hadn't cleared the interview with the rest of the club or whatever, especially since he was going to speak about it, and that they found out on the the plane ride home back from the Fulham game, basically in real time. Once Piers put out the first few clips, I think it was like 2 or 3. That was when they found out. And what I'm saying right now is how I felt right at the moment, because obviously I'm still going to have a reaction to it, but it took a lot for me to hold my tongue, man. It really did. It did. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know, especially what Gad thought.
Before, I mean, this could be a general one, or you can start with this one. But how do you think the players felt after he only called out like Delo, Casemiro, and or maybe like Martinez?
They probably felt, I don't know, left out. If I'm going to speak for them, I if I were in that position, I would have been like, damn, yo, like I thought I was on your team too. Like I thought we were teammates, but he also has deeper connections with these players. Dalot is countryman. Casemiro he spent quite a few years with, and then these guys on this squad, Bruno and Dalot aside, and Casemiro he hasn't spent more than last season with, just about the last 12, 14 months. So I think it's warranted. I think also for them, if I could speak for them, they would probably feel slighted. They would probably feel like set aside.
Okay. But they have history, right? There's something there. But what about Martinez?
I think for Martinez, it shows the ability for Ronaldo to identify when it plays well. And that's why I say that the other players probably felt slighted, because they're like, if they're the ones that are, if they personally think, man, I think I've been doing pretty good, or I feel like I've improved, and he sees this one new player who's clearly been doing great, because Martinez has been, at least for the back line up until now, I think that they would feel slighted because he chose not to recognize, I guess, the other players. Because he could have just blanketed them. He could have said, oh yeah, my whole team. He didn't have to name everybody. But maybe just if he was being general, I have no idea. But since he did speak out on Martinez and decided to highlight him, probably for Ronaldo's standard, this is the only guy that he identified, I would guess, that has done well enough for him to say something about it.
And like Eric said, obviously the juicy part is in the second part. But in my opinion, the first part, I don't think he really said anything out of order. Like he pretty much said that most United fans have said that the Glazers have not been good. Obviously, there hasn't been any changes since Sir Alex. I don't really think he said anything out of line like that, apart from maybe like him saying Ragnick was like who didn't know. But I mean, let's be honest, like the majority of people, like he was a sporting director, he was not a coach. He only coached in, I think it was like St. Petersburg or something like that in Russia. I mean, so it's not like something crazy. Like if you're basing out just the first half, I don't think he said anything out of order. Like, obviously, he talked about his family and whatnot. And I really truly don't think he said anything like out of order. Obviously, we have to watch the second part of the interview, because what was the one thing that he said that got everyone, because I don't remember the clips, it's like 50 clips or whatever, and there's like 50 accounts, our United accounts, like tweeting about it. What are like some of the major clips, like even in the second part?
One of them was that he said that Ten Hag doesn't respect him, so he doesn't
No,
respect Ten Hag.
that's coming out.
That's
coming out in the That's coming out in the second
I mean,
part.
a lot of this are clips that are, if you just face value, it says a lot, but we don't know the whole context of what's behind every single clip. There could have been conversations that he led up to him saying that, or could have been. I'll be funny if like the conversation beforehand was at the beginning of Ten Hag walking into the dressing room. I didn't respect him, and because he didn't respect me. But that was at the beginning and then they just clipped that part, and then the ending is, but now there's this mutual respect that even though he's not putting me on the field, I see what he's trying to do. Like there could be a lot there. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is true. I kind of feel like it's the opposite. But I'm giving Ronaldo the benefit of the doubt, and honestly, I mean, so far I'm down to continue listening to him, because he's just talking shit about things that are happening to him, and maybe opening the world to problems within a club that it's not the first time we've heard drama. It's just the first time that somebody's actually going to speak out about it, because we know that there's drama from the past. We've known this. There has been problems in Man United since Mourinho, even before, I think, and we know that there has been a toxic back and forth in the locker room. It's gone away, it's come back, it's gone away, it's come back. It's not because of Ronaldo. This is before Ronaldo. It's just that Ronaldo is a big prominent figure because of his stats and all that other bullshit. But he's the only one that decided to say, "Hey, I don't like it, and I'm going to talk about it. And if you don't like it, well, tough luck, because I'm still going to open my mouth." And I'm gonna go with the worst person to interview me, because I personally don't like Piers Morgan, but like Diego said, he will make you say shit. He will ask you a question and ask you again in a different way to see if you give him the same or switch up your answer. And Ronaldo did that multiple times in the first interview, which I thought was hilarious.
What really intrigued me in that interview was his like little like segment or whatnot of him discussing on young players not really putting in the effort. And obviously that was when he listed like Casemiro and Lisandro and was it Diogo Dalot. I was very interested because that kind of gives you like a little like background and to see like maybe there probably definitely is that just huge error, not error, but I guess part where some young players compared to back in the day aren't putting in the effort. And by the way, that is 100% aimed at Jadon Sancho, 100%.
You think so? That's a good tinfoil hat.
No, I think it is
like Ivan Toney.
I think it is, because there were also some clips that were released that were directed that it was highlighting Sancho for a couple of different things. So I definitely do think it was aimed at him specifically.
Is it bad to call out? I mean, he's not calling individual players as of now, but is it bad out to say that the young ones are not putting as much effort into the sport? Is it a bad thing? Because his standard is high. He put himself through shit and back to be able to be where he's at. Do you not think that he would want his teammates to be at his standard?
I don't think it's bad. And he didn't even give out any names. So
I mean, there's more than one great athlete out there that have said, if you're not at my standard, you're not. I'm not going to pass you the ball.
Bro, honestly, at least that first part, I have no issues. But obviously, the one we really discussed about was the Ten Hag and how he felt betrayed. So, Gat, you haven't had your word yet. What was your thoughts on that specific, I guess, segment or clip where he felt that he said, "I feel betrayed" by Erik Ten Hag?
Yeah, so that segment, just based on just listening to the interview, it wasn't in this first part, so I know it's going to be in the second part. So I do want to. I mean, of course, my initial reaction when he said that, I was pretty mad that he said that, but I'm gonna wait and see what the rest of the interview actually what he has to say, because we are most likely missing a lot of context before and after that. So I mean, of course, just seeing that tweet come out, of course, it was very disappointing. It was very infuriating, because the one thing we know about Ten Hag is that he means business. He's going to respect whoever shows up and wants to play the game. And if he does something like that, it's for a reason. If he's going to leave you out of the squad, it's for a reason. It's not just because he's picking and choosing randomly, or he's picking favorites or anything like that. So that was annoying to see. But let's wait and see what part two has to say. I mean, just quickly going over part one. I mean, like you said, Nico, it wasn't that bad. It was a pretty easy interview to listen to. There wasn't really any other than the Ragnick thing that you said. There most of it made sense. I mean, you were brought up the young players there. You can definitely see that in his eyes. I mean, it is pretty obvious. There is a generational gap with the old guys of that era, with the new guys that are coming in today, which is one of the reasons why he named Martinez as one of the guys that he likes, being around, because according to him, Martinez, Dallo, and Casemiro are the only ones that are actually, quote unquote, I guess, looking up to him and like actually learning from him, and wanting to put their best foot forward to actually absorb as much as they can from Cristiano. So that's one of the reasons why he named Martinez specifically, and that just shows that there is a generational gap. I mean, and it's not just with United players. I mean, we see the antics going on with Foden, next door. All the shit he gets himself into, and with the whole partying and all that with Grealish and all that nonsense. So it's definitely something that's prominent. It's just this day and age, with all of the technology and how much access to information we have. I mean, it's obvious that all these players are gonna see things differently. And he also said it in the interview that it seems that they're taking in information on one end and then it's going out on the other end. And I mean, unfortunately it makes sense. I mean, the generation nowadays, it's attention spans are not quite there. It's just, let's take in what we can now, and that's it. We're going to move on to something else. There's not much absorption, is what it seems like. But I mean, overall, it wasn't too bad of an interview. Most of my reactions are coming from the clips that have been pre-released that are most likely going to be in part two. But yeah, all in all, it wasn't too bad. There were a couple comments that really annoyed me. I think, if I remember correctly, in the beginning, Piers had asked him about the shirt sales as soon as he signed, that he broke the record for shirt sales against Messi, and Ronaldo replies with, "Well, I don't follow the records, they follow me," and that pissed me off. Because he is just an arrogant little bitch that he can just sit there and say, "Yeah, no, I'm me. So anything I do, I'm gonna break the records."
That's why he has
And
100 million followers, because he's handsome.
and because because of his good looks. But that's that's the one thing that has always pissed me off about him. And I may have never said it on the bench, just because I've only been around you guys for the past couple of years, but just, I never liked him as a person, just because that's how he was.
Yeah,
Like,
what?
No, I never
News.
liked him as a person.
Breaking news.
That's
on the
why.
bench.
But that's why you guys have never asked me about my GOAT. I've sided with Marco. It's just, we can't pick one. We have Messi, we have Ronaldo. Let's enjoy both of them.
And pick one.
We gotta
So-
get, we gotta get Piers Morgan.
But this is why I
Morgan
never liked Ronaldo as a person, just because of his attitude. Just
Thank you.
for him to come out and say that records follow me, like, fuck off.
I mean,
Like,
I'm
no.
defending him now, but I'm you said, I'm in the boat. Even when he was in Real Madrid, I've never liked him, but that doesn't mean that I don't see what he's accomplished.
Right, and then to go on what you guys were saying earlier, like I think it's unfair for you to have these standards and to expect everybody around you to meet those standards. Like you can't control other people's lives, you can't control what they think, you can't control what they do. So if they don't meet your standards, I mean that's not your problem. I mean
Yes, and
they're living their life their own way. They can't live it to your standards. They can try, they can attempt to try to accomplish the things that you have done, but it may not always work out that way.
okay, but that's the key word. They're trying, they're attempting, they're putting in the work to get to those standards. But what happens if he has players that don't even do that? That they just show up for for the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of training, but don't put effort before or after. Like the greats in any sport have always said that they put 110% or more into their craft, and for them, the standard is here. If you don't meet me or try to meet me, then I'm not going to pass you the ball. Like that's the final thing. And it's not only Ronaldo that says it. We're only seeing Ronaldo because he's an arrogant bastard that's saying it right now. But how many kids? Kobe's one of them. How many times have you not heard a Kobe interview that he doesn't say that he didn't respect a certain player because he didn't show up hour or 2 hours beforehand and didn't leave an hour or 2 hours later from training? Jordan has said it as well.
Jordan with Isaiah Thomas.
How many players? But because it's Ronaldo that's saying it right now, and he's an arrogant bastard, he's the one that is like, oh well, players shouldn't have to submit to his standard. Fuck that. Submit to those standards. He's made it. He's a one, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, and that just comes down to the generational gap. I mean, he even said it himself in the interview that the young kids just see things differently. That's not how they operate in the world.
To the fucking here, you participated. Have a trophy.
Right,
or in this case,
exactly.
A phone case here.
Okay.
Because your iPhone needs a protector. Here.
That's a terrible participation trophy.
Right, and that is definitely plays a huge part. I mean, like I said, the just access to information, social media, the way the world is now. I mean, it's not surprising that that's how some of these players, some of these young guys, that's how they act.
You know what's funny? I truly believe this. I truly believe that Cristiano still thinks he's like a top 3, top 5 player in the world still. I truly believe that he still thinks he's like what he was in like 2016, 2017. Like he's just top 5, top 3. I should deserve to. I start for any team in the world. I'm the first name on the team sheet. Like I truly believe that he thinks that in his mind. And I think that's where his ego comes into play, where he doesn't accept that he is declining. For example, like Michael Jordan, he knew when he was declining when he went to the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. I think with Ronaldo, Cristiano, I don't think he accepts the fact that, okay, I am declining, and I know that several tens of players have overtaken me, not even in the world, in the league, and in my team. So that's just my little.
Yeah, he's not adapting. He's not adapting to the current. He's not adapting to the modern game. He's not realizing that he's not 20, 21. He's not that kind of player anymore. So he needs to wake up.
I actually just saw something before we started recording that I think it was Ian Wright said that he just can't accept the fact that he's coming to the end of his career as a professional footballer. And it's really affecting him, and not just him, but the people around him, and that he possibly needs to see some counseling in order to accept those terms, that he's not the same what he was 5 to 10 years ago. So I believe it was Ian Wright that said that, and you know him, he's very honest about his opinions about that kind of stuff.
Do you guys think it's a Portuguese thing?
No.
I have one example. It's a dumb example, but it's an example out there. Hear me out. He spent some time with Mourinho, right? What is Mourinho known for? Changing the game and then being left behind. Because then Pep came along and changed the game again. But he stuck to his guns. And
did it?
If I speak.
But he did it.
But I mean, both of them have done it. Just both of them decided not to realize where they're at the current moment. So, yeah.
I like he does address it in that segment where he talks about the kids, and he does say, I don't blame them though. He says it clearly. They don't have the hunger, they don't have the drive. I'm the one that's coming in early and I'm the one that's leaving late. He says that. And then he says, but I don't blame them because he realizes that their circumstances are different. Mm-hmm. And paradoxically, he's part of the reason why this generation isn't going through what he had to, because obviously a lot of the things that they had to overcome, the obstacles that they had, the suffering that they had. Did you guys see the Anthony quotes that came out this week? The whole I would nutmeg the freaking drug dealers. Yeah. I would I would elastico
and all he wanted,
the construction workers.
And his dream was just to get his family out of the favelas.
Exactly. So then he can't be the new generation as a byproduct of his efforts. The previous generation, they can't be blamed for that. But he does say they don't put in the same thing that I do. And obviously someone who's gotten there and he's done that, like Marco, I think that was a great comparison, at least with Kobe, to be like, I know you're not going to give me the effort that I want. So I'm not going to recognize you. I'm not going to pass the ball to you. I'm not going to play with you. Because at the end of the day, which that is absolutely right. And as anyone else would, he's a fucking arrogant person. He is. And this is the last, I'm glad that I got to this point, at least with, because I felt like from the beginning, and I swear to God, Marco, if it turns out to be like, oh yeah, I don't disrespect, I don't respect Ten Hag because it doesn't respect me. And then after the split in the timeline for Premiere Pro, the next part of it is what I do now because we have a successful project ends up being a freaking nothing burger. I would be so mad because obviously I was drawn in because the mastermind behind the baiting that Piers Morgan does. And he does that. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I made sure to I blocked out my time. I had a reminder on my calendar. Marco was kind enough to send us the link as soon as it dropped. And so I sat down and watched it. And he does that throughout the entire thing. He prompts him with specific words so that it's easier for him to answer. And that's why the very first thing that he starts with is, oh, I came to interview with you because I like you. Why does Ronaldo like him? Because he feeds his ego, because he softballs the questions to him. And then he says things like, oh, Ralph Rangnick, I never heard of him. And I don't think you did either. But then they hired him as a coach. Wasn't that a ridiculous decision? He already set him up for Ronaldo to just say, yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. And he's going to answer it easily because although there were some people saying oh, don't blame him. His English isn't that great or whatever. And granted, he was only in England for those 5-6 years. Maybe he could have also chosen to give the interview in Portuguese. He could have also chosen to give it in Spanish even. And I felt he would probably feel more comfortable. I think he went to Piers because he knows that it's easy for him to air out his grievances with Piers. That being said, all of the things to kind of wrap it, I don't know if anyone else has something else to say, but what Nick was saying was, I think, spot on. A lot of the things that he mentions about United, if a person that's listening to it is a United fan, is old news. We know that they haven't been successful. Piers Morgan says in one point, he's like, oh yeah, after so many managers who were basically a failure, and he sets it up for Ronaldo to be yeah, it was a failure. Yeah, they haven't, we all know that. We all know that Van Gaal was a failure, Moyes was a failure, Mourinho by his standard was a failure, but he doesn't also recognize the things that they were able to accomplish, namely the only trophies that United has had under Mourinho, but that's basically it. And then Ronaldo's able to speak the way he likes. Oh yeah, I like Ole because Ole is difficult for he knows that he can speak his mind exactly how he wants to, and that's going to come off differently, especially if you chop it up the wrong way. That said, at the end of the day, his single-mindedness, his arrogance, his willingness to not accept anything other than winning, all of these character flaws that we're seeing now from a 37-year-old athlete near the end of his career are literally what brought him there. Like, he wouldn't be Cristiano Ronaldo if he wasn't arrogant and selfish and single-minded and basically only able to tolerate winning at the highest level. And unfortunately, because he also, I feel like one thing, at least for this first part, that he's blinded to, he doesn't realize that all of these poor decisions that United have made, he's also one of them. He's one of them, because he says it even in the clips where he's talking about, oh yeah, the Glazers don't care about the club, which is obviously in the second part, because he didn't mention that in this one, I don't think. He's part of those poor decisions, because they knew that he was purely going to be a commercial buy. They knew he was at the end of a really long and illustrious career, but that's it. That's it. And Ronaldo is never going to accept that. Never. So he's also never going to have the self-awareness to be like, yeah, all these things that I'm complaining about that United is doing wrong, I'm also one of them by being back here now and holding back the team from being a team. I think United have a team spirit. I think they're building a squad, and I think that's what they have to focus on. But again, like, damn, still hats off to Piers Morgan, the provocateur master of the internet. I think how many millions of views did part one have? When I first saw it in the afternoon, it was like at 4.5. I don't know what it's at now.
I'll check right now, but I feel like Ronaldo already knew, like, this is scripted. Like, Ronaldo knew that these questions were coming.
That's the thing, yes.
Like,
it's at 1 million views
practice,
right now.
Like, yeah, and then he knew that Piers Morgan was just, like you said, just gonna feed him lines, so he could just remember easily. Well, what was that, Gat? Sorry.
I just pulled it up here. 1 million views.
That's
that
it?
1 million.
Oh, his other one has 2.
Well, I guess it depends which one. Yeah, because the one Piers Morgan Uncensored handle is on 1 million.
Oh, okay. I probably
So
saw
it.
Yeah. The other one's at
So
2.
So it depends on which one you actually pick. Yeah, there's another one that I just looked over here too, and it does say 2. So it
If you
depends.
want to count all the mini clips and all the other bullshit that he submitted.
But Dai, just to wrap things up, I know you haven't given your take yet. So yeah, what is your take on this Ronaldo situation?
Well, I still have yet to watch the first part of the interview, but I have been seeing a lot of clips on social media and from what you guys have been sending.
Clickbait, nice.
Well, basically, I mean, I agree with all of you guys. You know, the way Cristiano Ronaldo is, they're definitely with the whole age gap and everything else. I just feel like he's just that one professional player, athlete who just can't accept that his career is coming to an end. He's close. He said that he wants to play until the age of 41 or something like that, but to be honest, it could probably be sooner. But at the same time, these young guys, they're not the way we grew up watching football and the way we grew up playing football is just definitely, you know, a lot different than these younger generation. You see the problem, like Gat said, you see the problem with Foden, Grealish, also Mbappe at PSG. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a whole different kind of arrogance between Ronaldo and these young guys. But I don't know. I definitely see Ronaldo leaving United after the World Cup when the winter transfer season comes.
Oh yeah, we all assume that he's definitely not playing another minute in a Manchester United shirt, right?
Yeah, Erik ten Hag basically told the board he needs to go. He needs to go.
Honestly, interesting to where he goes to January. I saw Bayern. I think be a horrendous decision by them if they were to pick Ronaldo up. That'd just be, oh man. But either way, we'll get into that once the transfer window opens up. Now, completely shifting the whole tide. We're going to move into our World Cup brackets for Qatar. So, don't forget Papa Perez comments as well on him and Mourinho. What does that mean?
Papa Perez comments as well on him.
The ones where he said that he's like, where he's crazy, or that he's like.
I don't think I've seen those.
Yeah, that Eric gave you the thumbs up, Diego. So yeah, that one.
Yeah, the one where Perez says like, oh, I've never seen him do anything and anyone else do anything like he does. Like I don't know if he called him an idiot or a monster or something. I can't remember.
Ronaldo or Mo?
No, Ronaldo. It was like a
Oh,
2012. Oh,
this guy is an idiot. Read it for us, Nick.
All right, so Florentino Perez on Cristiano Ronaldo and a leaked recording from 2012 published in El Confidencial. This guy is an idiot, a sick man. You think this guy is normal, but he's not normal. Otherwise, he wouldn't do all the things he does. So, I mean, I guess that plays into Diego's thing and where this might be his downfall, I guess, his arrogance, but obviously Papa Perez's second part of that quote says otherwise he wouldn't do all the things he does. And I assume that's, scoring goals and winning trophies and, being one of the best players in the world.
I mean, you have to be a little mad to be able to do certain things, right? You have to be a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for example, Vincent Van Gogh, bit off his own ear or some shit like that. So I mean, if you're that good at your craft, you have to be, somewhat, crazy. It's not normal.
He cut off his own ear. I don't think anybody could bite off their own ear.
Sorry, that was a little stupid. But either way, though, we move to the World Cup bracket. Now it's unfortunate that Eric isn't here because honestly, I think it'd be kind of difficult to try to translate or not translate, but read Eric's text. But I think it would be best even after Ecuador's and Qatar's game on Monday, if we do record, that he does give his bracket, assuming he doesn't cheat or something like that.
Not because we have him submit it beforehand.
Yeah, he could send a photo to the group chat of.
I mean, we're still doing Diego's, the other one with his like very specific. So
yeah.
Okay, so Diego, you want to get into that one?
Yeah. So for the brackets, if you guys want to go around and do a roundtable style, we can go through the groups. List we did kind of go through like first and second a little bit, but just for the sake of the bracket, I think it would be worth restating first and second, who gets out the group, and then we'll move on to the knockout rounds based on what you guys have on your bracket challenge.
Oh, with it.
All right. So if you want to start,
I have my bracket right here in front of me, so it's just easier for me to read out.
So let's make an order here. So Marco, if you want to go first,
yeah, Group A. I'm just gonna mention Group A.
Yeah, and then I'll go second after Marco, and then Diego's below me, so Diego go third, Gat will go fourth, and then Dyer will go fifth.
I'll be happy to go last because you guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, perfect.
So we're just gonna go like Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D.
So I'm just gonna mention first and second place.
Yes.
From Group A, it's Netherlands and Senegal.
I agree as well, Marco. Netherlands, Senegal.
I agree.
Same. Copy paste. Netherlands, Senegal.
I'm erase Senegal, Netherlands, Ecuador.
Ooh, all right, so can you tell us why Ecuador?
So only because their key player, Senegal's key player Mane, got injured, but he still got called up to the World Cup, and there was a statement that was put out that said he will miss the first few games. Now there's only 3 games in the group stage, so how many games would that be? 1, 2, who knows, or all 3? So I mean, he's a huge player to be missing out for Senegal, and honestly, they don't do so well in the World Cup. I mean, the last time they did really well was in 2002 when they went all the way to the quarterfinals. Ecuador, they have a strong team. They finished 3rd in the qualifying round in the groups in South America. I just think they have a better connection than Senegal does, but that's my reasoning.
Fair enough. Group B, Marco.
I have England and USA.
You see, that's where me and you disagree because I have England and Gareth Wales.
Okay.
England, Wales, gents. England, Wales. Gareth Bale said it. He thinks that that they have a good chance. And on top of that, I believe it was it Berhalter that said that? There was a recent comment that I read that he was praising the Wales side. He's like, they're basically a Premier League side, the Wales national team. And I thought that they were pretty much underrated as far as how they would perform in the World Cup. So I'm going to I'm gonna give it to Wales. England first, Wales second.
Yeah, I can't say Gareth Bale is gonna win the Golden Boot and not have Wales come out of the group. So England, Wales.
I agree with all of you. England, Wales. I wouldn't be surprised if Wales does top the group, though.
I wouldn't be
But
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised either.
I have England come first, Wales second, but I would not be surprised if it was the other way around.
I agree.
Didn't they top the group against England in 2016 in the Euros? I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
I think
they did.
so.
They did.
Yeah, I remember that game against real quick though, England Wales. I think Daniel Sturridge scored like a last minute winner on his left. He just like a 3-toe to whoever the goalkeeper is to his right. But either way though.
And in that tournament, Wales went on to go to the semifinals.
Finals.
So
Crazy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good freaking memory. Sturridge with his 91st minute winner against Wales.
He's got the memory of an elephant, man.
Yeah, bro. I have a pretty good memory when it comes to football, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Wales, though, if I'm not mistaken, football or soccer isn't even the most popular sport in Wales. I believe it's rugby.
It's rugby.
It
is rugby.
I mean, it's incredible. Like even you mentioned semifinals in 2016, and now they're in a World Cup after like 60 plus odd years or whatever. It's incredible that a country whose sport isn't even football first, it's rugby, to make it.
I don't think Wales, they have a professional soccer league there. Their professional club teams are part of the England divisions, such as Newport County, Swansea City, Cardiff City, and now Wrexham.
Yes. So, but moving on to Group C, Marco.
Argentina and Poland.
Marquitos.
This is Lewandowski's tournament. Let's see if we can get out the group. But
I actually have Mexico in fourth place, by the way, just to throw that out.
Marquitos.
Yo.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I said copy and paste. Argentina, Poland.
Wow. I'm going Argentina and my querido Mexico.
Dude, have you heard that? Have you heard that song, that banda song about the Mexico winning the World Cup?
Oh God.
Of the family in the living room.
I don't know. It's. I don't think it's theirs. I think an actual band. Like.
Oh, an actual band? No, I haven't.
If I find it, I'll send it to you. I saw like a TikTok today, I think, and I was gonna look up the name of the song. If I find it, I'll send it to you. I thought it was hilarious.
No. Don't.
It's a good song. It's a nice little corridito, you know.
Eric says scroll up. Hashtag scroll up.
If you're not there when they win, I don't want you enjoying the music that they can provide.
Bro. I'll enjoy it while I watch them lose. It's perfectly fine. They're winning something. They're winning music always.
You're up next.
Argentina, Poland, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico.
Yeah.
I got to say all four for this one.
I'm saying Argentina and Poland, Mexico third though.
Wow.
Just
listen.
Mexico doesn't look the strongest country like they were in the previous World Cups that we've seen. So
I don't know that squad list that came out doesn't look like a World Cup squad.
All right, the thing is, I'll give it to Mexico is they have heritage in the World Cup. And although they don't get past the fourth game, right?
Round of 16.
They don't get past that, but they usually have just a good, nice heritage when it comes to El Mundial. But moving on to Group D, what do you got, Marco?
Group B, I got France and Denmark.
I have the opposite of that. I have Denmark finishing first and France finishing second, eliminating the World Cup curse.
I said previously that France would be knocked out. They're not going to make it out of the group. It's going to come down to a goal differential. It'll be Denmark first.
Yeah, you said the Socceroos second. Is that what you're gonna say?
He's gonna say France second.
Denmark first.
We got Austria.
Tunisia second.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I got France and Denmark.
I got Denmark and Australia. The Socceroos.
Right, interesting.
Yes.
Honestly, a lot of people, apart from us, have Denmark finishing first ahead of France. I feel like there's not that much hype for France, although they have an incredible team. I think it has to do with that World Cup champion curse. I think people are just going into it like, okay, France is automatically eliminated.
I mean, it's already showing. They're already getting a bunch of injuries and players being sent home right now.
Don't blame Camavinga for this one.
I'm not blaming Camavinga. I'm playing for Kunde, not keeping his fucking feet flat. But yeah, I'm going with that World Cup curse continuing.
Wait, so you had Denmark first and then who?
Australia. Going with the Socceroos. Aussie. Oi.
Moving on to Group E.
This one was a tough one for me. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it wasn't.
It hurt me a little bit.
They hurt me.
I'm talking about myself, Josue. I have Germany and I have Japón. I left Spain out.
That's fine.
And usually for World Cups, I usually root for Spain.
I'm pretty much completely opposite. I have Spain finishing first and I have Germany finishing second because it kind of benefits my bracket. Because if I were to swap it,
agenda.
I want to make sure it looks pretty at the
Agenda.
It's different because it'll be. I'll get into that, but either way, Diego.
I have a soft spot for Costa Rica. I had originally thought just to slight Spain to put them coming out of the group, but I have drank the Kool-Aid. Watching all of the compilations for the World Cup goals over the last 6 editions of the World Cup. I'm on the Japan train, so I'm going to give it Germany first, Japan second.
Nah, Germany, Spain.
Germany, Japón.
All right, then. Moving on to Group F.
Belgium, Croatia. Croatia.
You see, I have Belgium, Croatia as well, but this group, out of all the groups, I think, as of right now, maybe my opinion, I feel like
It's gonna be a fun group. Something crazy is gonna happen in this group.
I feel like something special is gonna happen. I have Belgium, Croatia, but I feel like something special is gonna happen with Canada or Morocco. I have this feeling that something's gonna happen in there.
Based off of the post that you guys sent me or put on the chat, Morocco has half the squad as foreigners. They're like more than half of them were born in France, I believe.
In Spain, they're like 10 miles away from Spain as well.
Yeah, I think they're connected. Yeah, but yeah, I said my piece.
Oh wait, you did Group F.
Yes, I'm going to agree. I think it'd be nice to see Canada pull an upset. I don't know how that team is doing, so I'm going to stick to the cookie cutter Belgium, Croatia for second.
I think I have to stick with my take that from the last podcast that Belgium is going to be a big team knocked out. So I'm going to go with Croatia, Canada.
I like that show.
Okay. Belgium, Croatia. As much as I would love to see Canada move on, but I don't think so.
All right. Group G.
Brazil and Serbia.
Copy and paste as well. I'm going Serbia. The Eastern Europeans, the dogs, finishing second.
I'm also copy pasting. I'm excited to see what Serbia is going to come up with, just because I think their side. I had originally said a few weeks ago that Serbia was going to be my dark horse team to follow. So just to, what was it for my agenda? For my agenda, I'm putting
for your bracket.
For my bracket and for my agenda, I'm putting Serbia second. So Brazil, Serbia.
Same, Brazil, Serbia.
And I'm also picking Brazil, Serbia.
This is the only group that we've all agreed. Wow.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So for
all wrong.
Moving on to the last group. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, like, this is a similar group to in the 2018 World Cup of Russia. Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia, but it was Switzerland that came second, Brazil up top. So I think this time Serbia is going to avenge themselves.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cameroon was in Brazil's group as well in 2014.
Yes.
2014, yes.
Yeah,
In
so I mean,
2014.
they go a long way. But the last group, Group H or H.
Marco.
Portugal, Uruguay.
I knew Ghana was about to slip out of your mouth right there, bro.
I know. I have Uruguay. I was going a little further.
I'm going Uruguay with the Uruguayan Andy Carroll with 5 goals in the group stage, and then I'm going Portugal second.
Fever dreams. Fever dreams. I'm going Portugal first. Ghana second. Uruguay third on goal differential, so it hurts more.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Uruguay, Portugal.
I don't think you guys are ready for my prediction.
Can I guess?
He's-
your prediction?
South Korea, Uruguay.
What?
South Korea and Uruguay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. Listen, the last time Uruguay and South Korea faced each other in the World Cup was in the 2010 round of 16. Uruguay just edged South Korea out 2-1. Uruguay beat Portugal in the last World Cup 3-1 to move on to the quarterfinals. And I mean, I just feel like, and South Korea 20 years ago, when they hosted the World Cup, they knocked Portugal out of the group stage. I know that's 20 years ago.
So they did well 20 years ago, so they're gonna come first now.
They made it all the way to the semifinals. I don't know. I feel like that face mask of Human Sun is gonna definitely give them the power up.
So the same exact team from 20 years ago is gonna play now, so that's why they're gonna come first.
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying history repeats themselves.
it's
I'm
his
just
bracket, child. Leave him alone.
yeah, for real.
It benefits his bracket. I
For real.
get it. Okay.
Doesn't look pretty.
But hey, can you at least be happy that I'm picking your fucking squad
Exactly.
to move on to the next round?
Yo,
All right.
Phil-
I
yo, hope
I
you
just
fill
think
him
the
off
whole
in the next round or two.
I just think the whole drama going around Ronaldo right now is going to affect them in the World Cup. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly do. Okay. So we'll see, because he has a great relationship with Dalot, but he does not have a great relationship with Fernandez. So I honestly feel like that's gonna. I honestly feel like it's going to affect them pretty hard in this World Cup.
I hope if
And
they lose, if Portugal do go bad, I hope it's because of Karen. Just to see his pissed off face.
So
For that.
Real quick on South Korea though, apart from Heung-min Son, watch out for this center back Kim Min-jae having a phenomenal season with Napoli. He's been
Killing it.
crazy.
Apparently he's been ranked as one of the top 10 center backs in the World Cup, going to the World Cup. So
yeah, he's been in stellar form. But moving on to the round of 16, then I think it'd be better for all of us just to name and who we think is going to progress from the 8 fixtures in the round of 16. So obviously the first one, second one.
So I'll go first on my top. I have, so the combined would be the face-off would be Netherlands, US. On mine, I have Netherlands moving on. Do you want me to go for the all
Yeah,
round
I think it'd be better if we just go on
the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
round of
All right.
16,
So then my next
round of
fixture-
16.
So the next fixture for me would be Argentina, Denmark. I have Argentina moving on. Then I have Germany, Croatia. I have Croatia moving on.
Ooh,
Yes.
respect. I
And
respect.
then I have the next one is Brazil, Uruguay. I have Brazil moving on. The next one would be England, Senegal. I got
We don't
England
beat
moving
Brazil.
on.
England moving on.
Following one is France, Poland. I have France moving on. Belgium, Japan. I have Belgium moving on. And then Portugal, Serbia. I have Portugal moving on.
Belgium, Japan is interesting one. Obviously, a repeat of the 2018 round of 16 where they choked, unfortunately, a 2-0 lead Japan. So they could get revenge in this tournament. But my first fixture in the round of 16 is Netherlands versus Wales. I have Netherlands progressing. My second one is a blockbuster of a fixture of Argentina versus France. I have Argentina progressing. Third one, I have Spain, Croatia. That's a repeat of the round of 16 Euro 2020. 5-3. Alvaro Morata scored a brace, my boy. That was a phenomenal game, by the way. Unai
It
Simon,
was.
like absolute howler. I have Spain progressing against Croatia. And then the fourth one, another blockbuster, Brazil, Portugal. I have Brazil progressing. On the other side of the bracket, England, Senegal. I have England progressing. Denmark, Poland. I have Denmark progressing. Belgium, Germany. I have Germany progressing. And Uruguay versus Serbia. I have Uruguay progressing.
Okay.
My first fixture, Netherlands, Wales. I got the Dutch. Second, a non-blockbuster, but an easy route for the Messi lovers, Argentina, Tunisia. Argentina moving on. Germany, Croatia. I got Germany. Brazil and Ghana, who make it out of their group, not Uruguay. Brazil winning that one. England, Senegal, I think is going to be an interesting one. I hope if that matchup actually happens, I think it's going to be an interesting game. And I believe England might edge it, so I'm giving it to England. My personal prediction for it, I feel like it's going to be one of those after extra time penalty things. I feel like it just might be one of those like difficult matches for the English to get past. The next one, Denmark, Mexico.
Is this it, Diego? Is this it?
Unfortunately, no. This is not it. This is not it. Mexico are going to be respectful to Christian Eriksen because he survived and he's doing well. And they're going to gracefully allow Denmark to progress onto the next round. Then Belgium, Spain, I got Belgium moving on. And Portugal, Serbia, I think is going to be another really, really interesting match. I hope that's going to be a good match because it just looks like just dogs all over the pitch going at it. And I would like to think that Belgium is going to face Portugal in the next round. So I have Portugal winning between Portugal and Serbia.
All right, so to start off, I have Netherlands going off against Wales. I have Netherlands going forward. Argentina, Denmark sees Messi moving on. I have Germany, Canada, which is probably going to be a really good game, but I do have Germany going on. Brazil, Portugal, Brazil moving on. Other side of the bracket, I do agree. I think England, Senegal is going to be a really good game if that were to happen, but I do have England moving on. No, Eric. France versus Poland comes up next. I do have France moving on there. I have Croatia versus Spain with Spain moving on. And I have Uruguay against Serbia with Uruguay moving on.
All right. On my bracket, on the left side, I got Netherlands and Wales. Netherlands moving on. Argentina against the Aussies, Australia. Argentina moving on. Germany against 2018 World Cup finalist Croatia. Germany moving on. 5-time World Cup winner against 2-time World Cup winner Brazil and Uruguay. Brazil moving on. England against Ecuador, a repeat of the round 16 in 2006 in Germany. I got England moving on. Denmark and Poland. I got the Danish moving on. A repeat of the 2018 round of 16 between Belgium and Japan. Japan moving on. And then South Korea against Serbia. You already know. South Korea moving on.
Fuck. You already know. I'm gonna say you already know. Get out of here.
That is my quarterfinals.
All right, then. So, Marco, your quarter finalist.
Okay, so my quarterfinals are looking Netherlands, Argentina. And Argentina is moving on. The next one is Croatia, Brazil. Brazil is moving on. The next one is England versus France. I got France moving on. The last one is Belgium, Portugal. I got Portugal moving on.
My first quarterfinal is Netherlands, Argentina. I have Argentina moving on. My second one is Spain versus Brazil. I have Brazil moving on to make it an all South American semifinal. The next one is England, Denmark, a repeat of Euro 2020 semifinals. But I have Denmark moving on. And the last one is Germany, Uruguay. I have Uruguay moving on.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
I hope that doesn't happen because that'll be a really tough match. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, it won't because they won't get out of the group. But anyway, the quarterfinal, Netherlands versus Argentina. I got the Dutch with the win into the semis.
Ooh.
Germany, Brazil. I think that
Germans. That's a good game.
I think if it's Germany, Brazil, I do think Brazil have the jogo bonito to get past the Deutsch. Then I also have, like Nick does, England, Denmark. I feel like the battle of the cross flags, of the reverse cross flags, is going to be also a pretty tight match. However, I do have England into the semis. And between Belgium and Portugal, I have Portugal getting the best of the Belgians.
All right, so my first quarterfinal matchup is Netherlands against Argentina, seeing Argentina moving on. I have Germany against Brazil, with Brazil moving on. England against France, sees France moving on. Spain and Uruguay, with Uruguay moving on.
All right, what do you got for us, Josie?
All right, so Netherlands versus Argentina, first quarterfinal match. I got Argentina moving on. Germany and Brazil, 2002 repeat final. I got Brazil moving on, making it all South American semifinal there. England and Denmark. As much as I would love to see the Danish move on to the semifinals, I got the English moving on to the semifinals. And then it's an all Asian quarterfinals between Japan and South Korea.
That would be fire, bro. That would be fire.
That would be fire.
That
would be fire. But
if that actually happens, I'm saying it right now, if that actually happens, I will treat you to a fast food meal of your choice. If there's actually a Japan South Korea matchup, whatever you want, whether it's Chick-fil-A, Mickey D's, Wendy's, anything.
It's gonna be a Harold and Kumar when he orders like 100 sliders from White Castle.
Also, I'm making you this promise right now. If that actually happens, you have the receipts. You got the clip. You got the clip. Virtual handshake.
Okay. All right. However, that is the end of the run for Heung-min Son and his South Koreans. I got Japan moving on to their first ever semifinals.
What the?
So now should we combine semifinal and final, or no?
Nah.
Okay.
Fucking Eric.
So
He said, "Vamos, Japón."
Right, semifinal, Marco.
Right. So I feel like mine's pretty predictable, and I think Diego, yours and mine match. I could be wrong, but my semifinal is Argentina Brazil. Or have Brazil moving on. Fuck Messi. And then
Damn. I mean, you could have left that part out, but okay.
Throw it out there. And then my other semifinal is France Portugal. I got France moving on. Fuck Ronaldo.
Oh damn!
Wow.
A battle for third place between the two goats of
That
football.
would be so sad.
Messi-
That'd be hilarious.
But
Hilarious,
Messi still gets his 1,000 games.
Oh, you're right.
That's true.
He still
Yeah,
gets 1,000 games.
He still gets his 1,000 games.
His 1,000 game is for third place.
All right, mine.
Consolation prize.
Two South American powerhouses, Argentina, Brazil. I was wearing all Brazil. I can't not choose between these two. I literally cannot. So
You
on my
play
bracket, I
someday,
have
do it.
Argentina. Bro, I can't choose between them. On this one, I have Argentina, or I was saying Brazil the other day, but this one I have Argentina. And then my second one is Denmark, Uruguay. I have Uruguay progressing.
Yo, an all South
What?
American final.
What? No, bro. Yo,
What
if
was-
that actually happened, no, I'm kidding.
Another meal? Another meal?
That would be the first time it's an all South American final outside of South America. No?
Not way. No
Yeah.
way. Well, I don't even have to
Yes
worry about
way.
Messi. I got the Dutch sending him packing. So Netherlands, Brazil for that first semi. I think make it easy pickings for the Brasileños to make it to their final. And the last one, England, Portugal.
Oh shit.
I think Ronaldo's already burning his bridges with the English and the Premier League. I think he's setting himself up for just letting go of everything. He said, "This is it. If Diego's bracket prediction is to go well, I need to burn all of my contacts with the English world and the English league." So Portugal move on for a all
Portuguese speaking
final.
Gosh.
All right, so my first semifinal, Argentina, Brazil. Brazil moves on. My second semifinal is a repeat of the Russia quarterfinals with France and Uruguay. This time we get payback, and I see Uruguay moving on.
Oh my God, you biased ass.
Why don't you guys say anything to Nick?
Eric is like, here we go.
Nick has. Oh my.
What was the final again?
Mine? Brazil,
Yeah.
Uruguay? Brazil, Uruguay.
Another all South American final.
All right, Josue, you're up.
What
I
you got?
am. So Argentina and Brazil. I got Messi and his squad making it to the final 2 times in his career at a World Cup final. And then England against Japan, the other side.
Don't say Japan, I swear to fuck.
No, England to the finals. England to the finals. And my final is Argentina
No.
against England.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say who your finalist was gonna be. Okay.
Nope. Should we say third
right.
place or no? Just go to the finals.
We're gonna finals right now. All right, Marco, reveal.
Shout out, Marco. Who's your World Cup
winner?
This final is a repeat of '98, Brazil, France. This time, Brazil takes it all. Neymar lifts up the cup.
Neymar lifts to World Cup. My final is a all dialect speaking, pretty much, of Argentina and Uruguay. I have Argentina winning it, so Uruguay stops there. So, but yeah.
Back to reality. Brazil and Portugal in the Portuguese-speaking final. We're gonna have some Relicio. We're gonna have some Hamburgao, but it's Neymar lifting the trophy. Neymar doing good and proving all of his haters, one of which I've never been in my entire career as a football-loving fan, wrong.
So my all South American final, the reason Uruguay got their second star, a repeat of the 1950 final, where Uruguay did win 2-1 back then. My heart, of course, wants to say Uruguay, but Brazil's gonna win it.
I'm glad your heart finally.
Now I got Argentina England final.
It's not coming home. It's not coming home.
Can't remember the last time they faced each other in the World Cup. I think it was in 2002 maybe.
No, Michael Owen.
Michael Owen. Yeah, Michael Owen goal. That was in 98, right? Or 02. I don't remember.
So
I don't remember which one it was. I was 6 and 10 years old at that time. But I do have. It's coming home. England.
No.
England winning the World Cup,
What?
shutting
Who invited-
Southgate,
This is Diego.
Maguire, shutting up all the haters in the fucking world. England is going to take it home for the second time in the history of World Cup.
This is Diego's fault because he specifically said we should have a bracket episode so Josue can be on it. This is Diego's. This is your fault, Diego.
I take it back. That is the worst.
okay, addressing Eric's comment, he says, "How was Nick in a Brazil full kit weight
I addressed it. Just look at your phones, please.
and have them not in the final?" I cannot pick between Argentina and Brazil. I literally cannot, but I have
Nick-
that side of the bracket. I can't pick between. I literally can't. I'm so sorry.
Nick, you're on camera. You're on camera with the jersey and the jester hat.
No, I know. But I'm not a Brazilian, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all good.
It's an agenda. His bracket looks better with Argentina there.
Yeah, I can't believe that was you, Nick. Look at
Not the first time.
Darwin. Oh my God. Well,
Darwin dunking on Messi. Please.
I got Kane dunking on Messi.
I can't believe.
Oh wait, Dyer. You weren't here for last episode, so your golden ball, no, your golden boot, your golden ball, which is the best player pretty much, your golden glove, and obviously your dark horse is Japan. So give us the other three.
Okay, so best player is I feel like it's gonna go to Messi, even though he's not gonna lift the title. What were the other two options? Best young player?
No. Golden glove and golden boot.
Golden glove, definitely not Pickford. I think it's gonna be I think it's going to go to Alisson. I think it's gonna go to Alisson. I feel like Brazil's gonna have a lot of clean sheets, especially in the group stage. So I'll pick Alisson. And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Golden boot.
Golden boot. Messi. I'm
All
gonna
right,
say
well,
Messi.
I was in a similar situation in 2014. I think he won the golden boot as well. I think.
2014.
Yeah, and then when they lost to Germany, or golden ball, one of those. But yeah, either way though, that concludes this pretty packed episode. To be honest, like very very packed. I'd say it's one of our mostly packed episodes in a while. To be honest, but we are the Benchwarmers. The bench with a voice, where the bench is always warm.
Orientale, la patria, la tumba. Cantánico.